Hey everybody, this is D and Mike, and this is a quick supplemental campaign diary for my last one, I think, which was campaign diary number 6, I believe. This will be 6.5 or 7.5, whatever. I think it's 6.5. I left out a crucial moment that happened. It was a very small moment, like maybe it took 45 minutes at the most, but it was a fun one, and I can't believe I left it out. I mean, this is the problem with doing campaign diaries, like a little too long after you play. So I left it out, but I wanted to go ahead and add it in here. And what it was a choose your own adventure. This is a lot of fun to do for a campaign. I did 3 of them in Hoard of the Dragon Queen. I hope to hit that or more in Rise of Tiamat. They're very complicated to make, and I can get into that later, but they're a lot of fun. So when they were traveling from the Sea of Moving Ice down to Waterdeep, I said, hey, this is a good spot for this. So we did a choose your own adventure, and I set up 4 scenarios, which is the hardest thing to come up with, is the scenarios, the questions, and the answers. But I came up with 4 scenarios. I'll put a little thing up here. You can see one of them. I actually have a prep video that'll be coming out talking about this very thing. So these are a little out of order. But it was a lot of fun to put together. And we just had a blast. That's all. We just had a blast. And what I did to punch up this scenario was I actually had a question in there where they could actually go explore. They could explore the island or not explore the island. If they not explore the island, then the ship continues on and they go on to the next question, and they actually miss out on like a lot of magic items and a quick 1 dungeon crawl. And I wanted to make sure it was 1 dungeon. In other words, it was just like 1 room, really, not even a dungeon, just 1 room. It was a fortress. And so this question popped up, and they chose to go explore it. And what I did was, instead of just giving a narrative answer, I actually put in a map, put in tokens, made a tabletop simulator map. I'll put it up here. And we actually explored it. It was just, it had to be quick, right? It had to be a dungeon or a room that you could do like in 10 minutes. And it was a lot of fun. So that's how I changed up my Choose Your Own Adventure. Instead of doing a narrative, I actually had a map. Now I thought it was just different, and that's what I was going for. So what's the story of this? Well, it's just a captain who was cursed, who wanted to come back to life. All his crew was killed, but they were cursed as well, so they were dwelling in this fortress, and they're just waiting for some sap to come along and explore this old fortress so they could skin them alive and take all that skin and put it back on their captain, and the captain would rise again, and he would bring eternal life back to his skeleton crew, right? So this fortress has been sitting here for hundreds of years, and hardly anybody's ever come to ever explore it. And here come our heroes, and they choose to explore it. And so I kind of took a Disney vibe to this, right? Like Haunted Mansion, when you have that silly narrator who's just saying a bunch of like quirky, spooky little things. Well, that's what I did. This was a very silly adventure, right? The crew had gone crazy. Everybody was just nutty. So this is what they heard when they first entered.
Why do come in? You are welcome here in this here fortress. Make yourself at home. Make yourself at home.
There you go. So I had 4 of these, right? I had 4 little spots, and as they got deeper into the crypt, or into this old fortress, the sillier it got, right? Here's the last one, right? Here's the last, I'll just give you the last one here. I'm not gonna play all of them. The last one that happens right before the skeletons attack.
Come dancing to my grave. Dancing to my grave. Skin. I just want your skin.
All right, so they go nuts. They here it is. They finally go after them. And of course, like I said, Pax wiped the floor with them. She cast some kind of spell that as an area of effect that just wiped out all the undead. I mean, we rolled initiative, and I think Pax went like 3rd and just wiped everybody out. No one else went. The skeletons, I don't think, even attacked. It was so quick. It was just so quick. But that was the point, right? And so they investigated the crypt, and they pulled out all these different magical items and whatnot. It was actually, there were quite a few. The captain had quite a bit. So it was worth their time. And after that, of course, we went and we chose, I had 4 scenarios. We had a 3rd one. I think the 4th one, the last one, was hilarious. It was just a lot of fun to do. It was a scenario where a ship was coming up. I'll put the image up. A ship was coming up next to them, and they had the ability to sneak past this ship or attack the ship using stealth. There was like these 4 different scenarios. And one of them was they can scuttle the ship and also fire their cannons. They get the first shot in, like a surprise round. So I made up this entire thing. I'll put it up here, like 20 to, I think it's 20 different outcomes of your cannon shot. And so everybody got to roll a d20, and you just told me what your number was, and I'd tell you the result. And it was so much fun. It was hilarious. I was almost in tears because I write these things so quick. Sometimes I forget what I've written, and it makes me laugh. But it was just so much fun. I mean, they killed the cabin boy. They did all kinds of ridiculous things. It was a lot of fun. So choose your own adventure, guys. It's something you can weave into your campaigns. I use it often. Well, not often. Every campaign I do bring it up, and you're going to find that it is a challenge to come up with them. Scenarios, questions, answers, outcomes. You got to link it all together and then make sure, of all things, the slides work. And half the time, I get it right. The other half, it's just like something's off, and I sometimes can't figure out what's going on. So it's a little tricky to set up in Google Slides. But anyway, guys, that was it. It was just fun. It was like this little lighthearted thing that was a lot of fun to do, a lot of laughter, and it just added to the experience. And it was kind of a good ending to this huge combat that happened with the dragon, almost kind of like a palate cleanser as everybody returned to Waterdeep. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. More to come as this adventure unfolds. I'll see you in the next one.